Welcome to the Digital Maddie Show. This is a platform where I share my knowledge on how to record an amazing video, create your personal brand, and build your online business with ease and comfort with social media marketing. I also invite many influencers and digital marketers on the show and ask amazing questions to extract their secrets of business. Let's get started with your host. Hi, my name is Mithil Dave and I'm a YouTube and video podcast expert, and I help aspiring video influencers to record your video and podcast and make sales through video marketing. We have an amazing guest on our show. She is a doctor and a pathologist by profession. She is already into the studio. Let's welcome her. So let's welcome on the show Dr. Anisha Chetan. Let me introduce her. She is a pathologist by profession. She was born, brought up, and did her entire schooling and MBBS in Bangalore. She did her post-graduation MD in Tumkur, and soon after she joined as, and now she is an associate professor of pathology in Raja Rajeshwari Medical College and Hospital, Bangalore. So welcome Dr. Anisha to our show.
Thank you so much, Mithil. Thanks for having me over in your podcast show.
Happy to have you, ma'am, here. So, Dr. Anisha, let me ask you one of my favorite question. Which is a favorite line or a quote that motivates you on a daily basis?
There are so many seniors out there, people who are much older to me, and they're so high-spirited. So when I look at them, I feel when they can do it, so can I. So that's what motivates me on a daily basis.
Awesome. So if they can do it, so can I. Awesome. So, Dr. Anisha, would you like to share your backstory with us?
Actually, I'm born in a very conservative, traditional Tamil South Indian family, and my parents were like, they thought that education is the most important thing, and I always wanted to be a doctor. So when my grandfather was a diabetic, I used to, even when I was in sixth standard, I used to, go and tell him, I want to give you your insulin. So and then he used to motivate me saying that you are definitely going to be a doctor one day. I think somewhere at the back of my mind that sat in my head saying that, yes, I want to be a doctor one day. And gradually, people keep asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I had no second thoughts in telling people that I want to be a doctor. And then second PUC, I did well and I got good marks in both engineering and in my MBBS. My mom didn't want me to be a doctor. She thought the road ahead is like very tough. And she's like, engineers tend to finish it in 3.5 years and then they start earning money. You'll be a free bird. My father put his foot down and said, no, I want you to be a doctor and I will not settle for anything less than what you want. So here I am today, so many years later, very happy and extremely contented with what I'm doing actually.
Awesome. So you just, stick with your childhood dream and eventually it became a reality. So good to see that and, transforming yourself as a Wonder Woman. Congratulations, Dr. Anisha.
Thank you so much.
Great. So Dr. Anisha, since you are a pathologist by profession, so what is the role of a pathologist and what do they do?
Everybody tends to think that pathologists just sit in the lab and they just sign off reports, but that's exactly not what they do. Yes, we do sit in the lab every day and we do sign reports, but what we exactly do is we help the clinicians to actually diagnose. Only if we diagnose correctly, they'll be able to treat. For example, let us take this COVID only for example. Okay, so patients come with certain symptoms and they will send a CBC or a complete hemogram to us, okay, with the blood. So based on what we find, like if lymphocytes are increased, it's a viral infection. If neutrophils are increased, it's a bacterial infection. We try to tell them that this is probably in, a viral or something, it's a bacterial, it's probably toxic and things like that. Based on that, the clinicians actually treat. So I feel that I'm not bragging because I'm a pathologist, but I feel that pathologists do play a very important role in diagnosing so that the clinicians can treat properly. And this is just a hematology part of you. Even when it comes to, now cancer is on a rise. So we actually diagnose like a small swelling. people come to us with a small swelling, we actually diagnose what that swelling is, whether it's cancerous, whether it's non-cancerous. And after the surgeon send us the sample, we actually sample and we say how far the cancer has extended and whether it will respond to chemotherapy and things like that. So we give them a very broad overview of what they need to do, what is the diagnosis, and how they can take it forward in terms of treatment. So that's exactly what pathologists do in a very
Awesome. Awesome. So basically, Dr. Anisha, before the doctors try to do their part and try to treat and cure the patient, it is the roles of the pathologists who do the major part by checking the inner things and then letting the doctor know this is what we have identified, and now we are handing over the patient to you. Now you cure them and treat them.
Yeah, I'm not saying pathologists do that independently. All the lab personnel, actually, the biochemists, the microbiologists, the pathologists, we work together with the clinicians to make sure that the patient is treated and sent home.
Absolutely, it's a teamwork, which I can understand.
It's a teamwork, yeah.
True. So, Dr. Anisha, how is it being a doctor and taking care of your home as well?
Well, before getting married, it was like a very simple task, because at home parents take care of everything, mom does everything, you come home tired and you say, Mom, I want tea, and then you have tea in your hand. But things really change once you're married, once you have kids especially. You not only take care of yourself, but you have to take care of the little one who's totally dependent on you. This is and it doesn't mean that you can just ignore your work. I also work in a hospital where there is teaching involved, a lot of teaching involved, because it's a medical college. So we have to come back home and make PowerPoint presentations, make sure that we have all the teaching material right. It does take a little bit of balance, but to be very honest, I have been extraordinarily lucky because I have such a wonderful family and a partner. They support me in every possible way to make sure that I'm comfortable both at work and at home. So hats off to them. So because of them, actually, I'm very lucky that way. So I'm able to strike a perfect balance. It does take a lot actually for working women who also needs to take care of family. Yes, we need to give our 100% both the places.
Awesome. And yes, I think women are able to do it in a much better way and try to have a work and life balance. And I have seen there are so many examples, and they have done it much. It looks easy. I know there are a lot of things that goes behind as a backstage, but then I know that you people do phenomenally well and manage it in the right way. So
hats off to all the women out there who actually do exactly what I'm doing and more. Yeah, some of them are even better maybe. So hats off to all of them.
Absolutely. And I think with the COVID, a lot of females who are now working from home. So even the family who initially could not understand what kind of a work the females are doing in the office. Now there is a lot of clarity, and there is more support coming as a family to them. So exactly. Yes, so things are working in a much better way thanks to COVID. For that, COVID has brought it's like something in disguise, blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing in disguise. If not for this COVID, I would have never spent the summer holidays with my son. It's been 5 years and I've not stayed even a single summer with him like this. And thanks to COVID, as you say, we got a lot of family time, and I would have never got so many days off in between. So the days when I'm not working, unlike the software engineers or people who have to work from home, I'm totally free. I can spend my dedicated time for my house. So yeah.
Awesome. So Dr. Anisha, in COVID times, how difficult is it to manage both work and home? Is it any different?
It's extremely hard, I must say, because first thing, your family is at risk because everybody is staying at home and I'm the only one who's going out, okay, on a day-to-day basis. Not only am I going out, I'm also going to a hospital. My hospital is a COVID dedicated hospital. So when I go to a COVID dedicated hospital, the staff, the staff, the technicians, the doctors, all of them are always surrounded by COVID patients, COVID relatives, attenders. So we really don't know who is infected, who is a carrier, who is a silent carrier, or so I actually make sure I'm doubly careful. We live in a joint family. I have my mother-in-law. I have three kids, two, one of my own and two niece of mine. I have this at the back of my mind that I need not just protect myself, but I have to protect my entire family. So I make sure that I take all necessary precautions. I've even gone up to the extent of, quarantining myself in a separate room with an attached bathroom in such a way that I don't come in contact with, the kids and the elderly at home, so that, I go down to eat after everybody finishes eating. I wake up in the morning and leave even before everybody wakes up in such a way that I don't come in contact with anyone. And it's very hard to stay away from my son for 15 days in a row. But looking at the bigger picture, and if it's for some good, I think if this is what it takes, I think not only me, all doctors all over the world are doing the same thing. So like I told you, if they can do it, so can I. That's what motivates me. Yeah, everywhere everybody's doing the same thing. So I was a doctor even before I got married and had kids, so I guess it's my duty to do this now.
Awesome, awesome. So, Dr. Anisha, people who are listening to this particular episode, if they want to know more about, COVID and want to get more information, how can they, how can you help them and, give them the proper information?
I think there's enough and more information already on the media, but please don't trust any WhatsApp messages, because I feel, about 20% of the WhatsApp messages may be true, but 80% is bogus according to me. It's probably not from a right source. You can Google information, but again, Google information, you need to have a proper journal or a scholarly article or anything which you need to. You can't randomly say symptoms of COVID and just go to a random site and see and say, I have a headache. It says headache, so it may not be. You might just be dehydrated and you might have a headache, and that doesn't mean you have COVID. So first thing, stop Googling your symptoms. And if you feel that you have, COVID, I sincerely wish that you go and get yourself tested. Also, because you have to protect your family, not only yourself. If you feel that you have COVID and you can't get tested, you have to quarantine yourself at least, and don't put everybody at risk. Stay at home, don't go outside, lock yourself up in a room as far as possible. If you can get tested, it's like really good. I feel you should get tested. If you're negative, it can be any other flu also which can have COVID-like symptoms. But please get tested as far as possible. Though they have lifted up all the lockdowns, and I'm sure everybody's phone has 500 messages of how all the malls are open and how everything is on a sale. Don't get carried away. This is not the time actually to go. If you want, you can online shop, but I seriously feel you should not go out to a shopping mall or any crowded place and put your family and yourself at risk, because like one of my professors told, one single asymptomatic patient can actually infect 200 people around him without knowing. Okay, so that 200 people, if they're asymptomatic, they can in turn infect so many people. So it will exponentially spread even without your knowledge. The best thing to do is be smart, stay at home, take precautions. So yeah, that's what all of us are doing, and that's what everybody should do for some more time, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. Anisha, before we end this particular session, would you like to say something to our viewers?
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Mithil, for having me here, and beautiful recording. This is my first ever. I just want to tell everybody that, for people who want to be budding doctors, who want to be doctors or budding doctors, it's an amazing profession. And, you're going to do like immense service to mankind. First thing, not only doctors, I want to tell the viewers that every profession who's going out there and fighting. It just can be our BBMP workers, it can be our, like the Sevaks, the people in the airport, anybody and everybody are working doubly hard, not only us. I'm sure a lot of doctors are getting the credit, but everybody is working equally hard, and together actually we must make sure that this phase just goes off and 2020 ends, good note, though it didn't start off in a good note. So thanks for having me here, Nikhil.
It's an honor, Dr. Anisha, for us to have you on the show and providing lots of valuable information. So thank you so much, Dr. Anisha, for being on the show.
Thank you, Mithil. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. So you have just listened to the Digital Maddie Show with your host Mithil Dave, and we have an amazing guest, Dr. Anisha, who shared a lot of values related to her profession and how to be safe during COVID situation. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. And if you're watching, you're listening to this particular podcast, then don't forget to subscribe to the Spotify or Apple podcast. Thank you so much, Dr. Anisha, for being on the show. It was our honor, and thank you for providing lots of values on it.
Thank you so much, Mithil. Likewise, it was an honor for me also to be on your show. I've seen your show and I've loved it. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.